The stars stretched across the void like shards of light scattered across an endless black sea. And in the midst of this vast expanse, the celestial pilot known as Kyle navigated the sleek hull of his vessel with a precision born of decades spent. Among the drifting constellations, he had traveled through war-torn sectors and peaceful clusters. But now his mission was unlike any other. He had been summoned to the remote system of Xalara, where rumors of a surviving Starborn Sentinel had reached the Alliance through fragmented transmissions, and the Council had deemed it crucial that he make contact, for the Sentinel held secrets of a power that could turn the tides of the growing conflict. Kale's ship hummed with energy as he adjusted. The trajectory to match the coordinates etched into the ancient star charts, passed down through generations of explorers. The navigation lights pulsed like a heartbeat, and the vast emptiness outside seemed to mirror the tension that gripped his chest, though he was known for facing dangers across the galaxies. Nothing had prepared him for the possibility of meeting a being of such legendary stature and unknown temperament. The Starborn were thought to be extinct, wiped from existence, by the cataclysmic wars that had scarred the cosmos, and the Last Sentinel, if indeed it survived, was more myth than reality, and yet here Kale was venturing into the heart of uncertainty, propelled by duty and a sense of destiny that he could not ignore. As the ship descended into the Xalara system, the first sight of the planet sent a shiver through his spine. It was a jewel of blue and violet with streaks of molten silver weaving through the clouds, and a faint aurora shimmered along the upper atmosphere, casting a soft glow that could be seen even from orbit. Kyle initiated a careful scan for signs of life, and immediately a faint energy signature appeared. A pulse unlike anything he had encountered before, ancient and resonant with power. It beckoned him downward, and he adjusted his landing thrusters to descend toward the surface. The terrain unfolded below like a painting of alien beauty. Jagged crystalline formations jutted from the ground, and rivers of luminous liquid wound through valleys like veins of energy. The ship touched down with a whisper of displacement, and the hull settled onto the translucent rock. Kyle took a deep breath and opened the cockpit to the strange atmosphere that carried a scent of ozone and something faintly floral. He activated his field suit and stepped onto the surface. The ground beneath his boots resonated faintly, as if acknowledging his presence, and in that instant he understood that Xalara was alive, in a way that defied simple explanation. The pulse grew stronger, guiding him through narrow canyons and across floating terraces that defied gravity, and just when doubt threatened to seize him, the first figure appeared. She emerged from the luminous mist, a being of elegance, in strength her form radiant with an inner light, her eyes reflecting the cosmos itself, and Kale knew without hesitation that this was the Starborn Sentinel. She carried herself with a grace that was both commanding and ethereal. Her armor glimmered like starlight forged into indestructible plates, and a blade of energy hovered at her side. She studied Kale with an intensity that made his pulse quicken, and he felt the weight of countless generations of guardianship and power behind her gaze. He stepped forward cautiously and spoke in the common tongue of the Alliance. "I am Kale of the Celestial Fleet. I come seeking an alliance, not a fight." The Sentinel tilted her head, and a sound like a chime resonated from her lips. It was not words, in his language, but the meaning reached him through something deeper, a communion beyond speech. "I am Seraphine, the last of my order, the final sentinel of the Starborn. My purpose has been dormant for centuries, and yet you have awakened it, Kyle." Felt the gravity of her words pressing upon him, and he knelt slightly in respect. "You are not alone, Seraphine. The threat that looms across the galaxies seeks to enslave worlds and extinguish light. We need your wisdom and your strength to prevent devastation." The Sentinel studied him. Long moments stretched into what felt like hours, and then she extended a hand, a gesture of acceptance, and Kyle took it, feeling the surge of energy that flowed through her like rivers of pure starlight. Alliance was sealed in that silent exchange, and together they moved toward her sanctuary, hidden within the crystalline forests of Xalara. The environment responded to her presence. Luminescent flora parted as she walked, and the very ground seemed to hum in resonance. Kale followed in awe, as Seraphine revealed chambers etched with glyphs and symbols older than the known universe. The walls glowed faintly, and as he approached, he sensed knowledge waiting to be awakened. Stories of battles fought. In the darkness before light had even taken shape, Kale asked how she survived the purges of the Starborn, and she replied in the same resonant tone. The Sentinel Order was bound to the essence of the cosmos when others fell. Our spirits endured. In hidden sanctuaries, and the energies of the universe protected us until we were needed again. Now the time has come. Kyle listened intently as she spoke of the Voidfall, the encroaching force that devoured stars and consumed planets, leaving only silence in its wake. It was a darkness unlike anything the Alliance had faced before, and only by merging his fleet's tactical genius with her unparalleled powers could they hope to stem the tide. Seraphine led Kale to a chamber where the ancient core of Xalara pulsed with raw energy. It was a nexus capable of amplifying her abilities, and by linking it with the celestial fleet, they could create a beacon of hope. The process required trust, synchronization, and courage. Kale and Seraphine spent hours attuning their energies, syncing their movements, their thoughts, their intentions. As the core responded to their unity, waves of light cascaded outward, filling the chamber and resonating across the planet's surface. And when they emerged, the first vessels of the Voidfall appeared in the orbit above their heads. The Sentinel raised her blade, and Kyle took his position at the command deck of the fleet ships. The battle erupted across the Xalara skies. Beams of energy tore through the void as ships engaged with precision and power. But the true advantage lay with the Alliance. Kyle coordinated strikes with the insight Seraphine provided, sensing weaknesses in enemy formations that no sensor could detect. Her sword sliced through the darkness, creating fields of starlight that protected his ships and neutralized the enemy's attacks. It was a dance of strategy and power, a symphony of light and motion that turned the tide in ways thought impossible. As the battle raged, they shared moments of unspoken connection, glances and gestures that communicated trust and determination. Without the need for words, Kyle marveled at her skill, at the way she seemed to anticipate his thoughts and actions, and Seraphine acknowledged his courage, his ingenuity, and the way he commanded with both heart and mind. The conflict reached a climax as the flagship of the Voidfall emerged, a monstrous entity of shadow and energy intent on annihilation. Seraphine and Kale launched a coordinated assault, channeling the full power of the Nexus through their alliance. Kale piloted his vessel in a maneuver that mirrored Seraphine's strikes. The energy flows converged, and a beam of pure light erupted, engulfing the enemy in brilliance. The darkness writhed, resisted, and finally shattered, leaving nothing but the void it had emerged from. The Xalara system trembled as the pulse of the Nexus settled back into equilibrium, and Seraphine lowered her blade in the light of her essence, flickering with satisfaction and exhaustion. Kale exhaled deeply, feeling the weight of the victory and the bond that had been forged through the fire of combat. They returned to the surface of the planet, and the crystalline forests shimmered, welcoming them. Seraphine placed a hand on Kale's shoulder, a gesture of recognition and gratitude. "The Celestial Pilot, you are more than an ally. You are a partner in the truest sense. Your courage, your will, your spirit has rekindled the light within me." Kyle felt the words resonate deep within his core, and he responded with humility and resolve. "Together, we will protect the galaxies together. We will ensure that darkness never prevails." Seraphine nodded, and they stood side by side, watching the stars stretch across the sky like a promise unbroken. Their alliance was more than strategy, more than necessity. It was the meeting of two beings committed to a future where light endured, where hope thrived, and where courage shaped the destiny of countless worlds. In the days that followed, Kale coordinated with the Alliance fleets, transmitting knowledge that Seraphine had shared tactics and maneuvers that leveraged her understanding of cosmic energy and the vulnerabilities of the Voidfall. The Sentinel trained warriors in the use of light energy, creating elite units capable of defending systems previously thought indefensible. Together, they built a network of protection, spanning multiple sectors, each outpost, each fleet movement. Each sentry synchronized to the rhythm of the pulse of Xalara, ensuring that the darkness would meet resistance wherever it appeared. And yet amid the strategy and preparation, Kyle and Seraphine found moments of quiet reflection. Beneath the twin moons of the planet, walking among the crystalline forests, sharing stories of homeworlds and ancient battles, and laughing at the absurdities that even in the gravest moments reminded them of the resilience of life they learned. From each other, the pilot from the Sentinel from the pilot. Strength, courage, adaptability, and the ability to inspire without command became their shared language. And in this way, Xalara became a symbol, a beacon, not just of victory, but of unity across differences. Kale knew that history would remember the Battle of Xalara and the emergence of the Last Starborn Sentinel as a pivotal moment. Yet he also understood that the true story was the alliance, the connection forged between beings of different origins yet united by purpose and vision. As months passed, the alliance expanded, incorporating beings from distant worlds, each learning from Kale and Seraphine, and each contributing to a network of protection that grew stronger with each challenge that arose. The Sentinel's teachings inspired new generations, pilots, warriors, diplomats, and thinkers who understood that the universe was not merely a space to conquer, but a living entity to protect. Kale and Seraphine often stood on the observation decks of the command ships, watching the pulse of Xalara reflected in the light of distant stars. And in these moments they shared a silent acknowledgement of the journey they had undertaken together and the battles yet to come, for they knew that darkness would rise again, but armed with trust, unity, and the unparalleled bond forged in the heart of the luminous forests. They would face whatever came with courage and unwavering resolve. And so the legend of Xalara Rising spread across the galaxies, a tale of a celestial pilot and the Last Starborn Sentinel, whose alliance rekindled hope, restored balance, and proved that even in the vast expanse of the cosmos, the light of unity and courage could shine brighter than the darkness that sought to consume it. Their story endured as an inspiration, a reminder that destiny is not a solitary path, but a journey shared, that true strength emerges when beings set aside fear and embrace trust, and in the endless dance of stars, Kale and Seraphine moved together, a testament to the power of alliance, the brilliance of hope, and the eternal rise of Xalara.